Hello everybody, welcome to Meet Fit and Lean. If you're new, please hit that like and subscribe button. Want to do a little update for everybody. I know I haven't weighed myself recently, so the last successful weigh-in was 255 pounds. So I want to explain what happened and where I'm going with this. So I've had to move the goalpost, folks. Very disappointing, very disappointing. So I was going to be 250 or less by what was it, August or September 1st. I've moved that goal back to November 1st, but I think it's very realistic, a realistic goal. And what happened, so when I weighed myself, when I got down to 255, I didn't just use that as an excuse to go overeat. That's not what happened. I did go to Chipotle the next day or something, and I had way too much food. Went up a little bit, then came back down. But then what I noticed was somehow I started getting more lackadaisical about my carb intake, and my carb intake was too high, and so I didn't have the right carb intake, and I started just letting myself slide in and out of more carbs and trying not really putting in the effort like I was. And so I switched back in the last week. I stopped that, and now I'm back to eating the way I was. But unfortunately I saw at least a 3-pound weight gain in that, and so that was not good. But I'm not going to let it discourage me. I'm just saying that this happens, and I can't just it happens. I am very disappointed. I'm so sorry, folks. I really don't understand why the Lord is testing me so. I think maybe it's to humble me. I'm not supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be a Chad Lite. I was supposed to be athletic, lean. I have lots of gals interested. Instead, I ended up with poop-colored eyes instead of blue. And what my theory is the Lord just wanted to humble me somehow by not allowing me to be my ideal self physically. Now, if I had my blue eyes and an even 6 foot instead of like 5'10" and a half, and have be slender and healthy, then I might have ended up fornicating all over the place, like fornicating with 20 different gals. Having sex before marriage, possibly a baby daddy, daddy baby, whatever it's called. Even with black women, I might have gone for the blacks. I might have been so, what they call horn doggy, for everything. And so maybe God spared me all that by making me less attractive, allowing me to be less attractive. Because I could have been attractive, I had potential. I blew it. If I had have been... So I was a high-tier normie around age 22. I started getting the high-tier normie territory. But I was on the Chad Lite verge of being a Chad Lite, and if that had happened, maybe I would have been so tempted with women throwing themselves at me and having all this, because the hypergamy is really high for women right now. The hypergamy is way up there. And I think that I probably don't cut the mustard, even if I were that way now. But I feel like I had the potential to be a Chad Lite. I could have been. That's why it's so frustrating, folks. Don't let this happen to you. If you're a budding young strapping man, young lad, and you're kind of chunky, don't get fat. You go and you be your Chad Lite self. You don't allow to let it slide, because I wasted such good genetics. My great-grandfather, who was one of the most handsome men in Richmond, women would just faint at his presence, even some of the men. So they would, go like that, and he just was such a, very, very attractive man, and my mother was a model, and my father was all right. I guess my mother thought my father kind of looked like Wally from Leave It to Beaver. So he wasn't bad looking. It's not, my dad wasn't bad looking. He was just kind of nerdy, like kind of a nerd. But he was, I guess what you call oofy doofy. My father was oofy doofy. And my mother was definitely a Stacy. Or, Stacy Light. Stacy Light probably she was. But 5'7.5", very attractive brunette. My mother was upset because she didn't have blue eyes either. See, my grandfather, my mother's father, had blue eyes. Okay? So we have blue-eyed people in our family, but I ended up with these poop-colored eyes. And I guess it's because the Lord is saying, nope, I'm not going to let you have it all. You can't have it all. So that I humble myself, because if I had been a Chad Lite, I might have really ended up with a venereal disease, or ending up getting a lot of women pregnant because because they couldn't control my basic animal lust, basic animal biological urges, which a lot of folks can't do even if they're not very good looking. So I think I was blessed, folks. I think I was spared a lot by not being a Chad Lite. But it does hurt because I really had potential, folks. I really did. But anyway, folks, we're going to lose this weight. I want to tell you that I'm not giving up, and I never will. And I know that it's going to take me probably another year to get that lean look. Another year, I'm going to say. Because what? I'm about 65 pounds from my goal, okay? And that is a lot of weight, but I think I can do it, and I really I believe that a lot of this weight that came back, because I was going to the gym again, right, folks? I was going to the gym, so when I was doing my heavy workouts, of course I'm going to be hungry. It made me hungrier for food. That's why I really have to keep that in check, because when I do a heavy workout and I'm pumping it, for a couple hours, I want to eat. So I've decided I'm only going to do my heavy workouts twice a week, because that's really all it takes to build a little bit of extra muscle. And I don't want to be Arnold, I'm not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, because that takes a lot of work, and especially at my age, that's just not realistic. But I do have potential, y'all. I really do. So I'm sorry that we missed the mark. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people are very frustrated with me. And I agree. I messed up. I really did. I was thinking if someone could just send me to I was thinking if only the Holocaust could come back and I could be sent to one of those camps and work, in the Holocaust. I'm not a Jew, but they don't like fat people, right? The Nazis didn't like fat people, so they probably round me up and put me in there. I'd lose a lot of weight. I'd probably survive, though, because I'm a keeper. So I probably would survive the Holocaust. Knowing me, I'd probably lose only about 5 pounds. But I wish there'd be something like the Holocaust come back so I could, have that opportunity to lose weight. But anyway, folks. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Go to my website at meanskeletonsplace.com. Remember, folks, say a prayer for someone special today. Bye-bye.